Special guest today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Jonathan.
Nick.
We are the Gosslings, and I guess we're joined by our special guest, Shelby.
This is Shelby.
Say hello, Shelby. Yep. All right. I know. We love Shelby. So this is going to be, we're going to do two things, I guess. We're going to do cover artist therapy. We're going to talk about, the trials and tribulations of having a cover artist as a novelist. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. But before we do that, I think we were going to read. We had our typewriter thing that we were going to do.
We mentioned that we would type a one-page, just a short story on a typewriter because of how it changes the voice, changes the tone, changes the voice. Absolutely. Do you want to go first or me, or should we rock, paper, scissors?
Let's rock, paper, scissors. That's fine. Let's leave it up to chance.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot, and then do it on shoot.
Rock, paper, scissors, and then on shoot?
Yep.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, that means you got to go first.
All right.
Say winner chooses.
Crap.
History is written by the victor.
That's right. All right. I don't have a name for it.
Okay.
You know what? I'll call it Family Idol.
Family Idol?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't touch that. Why? Leo retorted. It was more obstinate annoyance than curiosity. Because you'll burn your hand, boy. Leo smirked, slightly bent his legs, preparing to duck and run. Why? On cue, a meaty adult arm swung wildly over him. The wind of the assaulting limb brushed the cowlick tuft of brown hair. Leo was halfway to the backyard fence when he tripped over a very confused Jack Russell named Bombardier. The rat-like dog yelped in fear more than pain, and all in one vicious motion bared fangs and nipped at Leo's calf. The fence was chain-linked and only 4 feet high. Leo had practiced vaulting over that fence many a time. The trick was to bounce just before grabbing the top rail with both hands. Of course, that only worked when he had enough momentum, enough speed. That was no issue now. A grown man in the throes of his whiskey was chasing him, and was the vicious Bombardier, who had had all the kindness and affection kicked out of him due to the aforementioned whiskey being the family false god. Leo had learned from his first dozen beatings by his father that running away was the only solution. Run and wait. His father would sober up and remember nothing, not even the provocations that Leo had made into his only high-stakes thrill. It was the only thing that made him feel alive, though he did remember his father saying the same of his drink. Too bad being a father wasn't enough. The fence approached. Leo began his bounce, but Bombardier had reached his feet and tangled his stout body between the boy's legs. Leo tumbled to the grass and rolled into the chain-link web. Bombardier slashed with his fangs, nipping and yipping in fury. Then a yelp punctuated a sudden relief. Father's boot sent the dog screaming in agony. The other boot, on his good leg, he saved for Leo. That's all I got.
Awesome. That's pretty good.
Thank you. A little dark.
Yeah.
A little dark.
Oh, you know what? Talk about that because I had locked the door.
Oh, sure. No problem. So,
Live stream,
yeah. I don't know who that is or why they're here. But writing on a typewriter definitely changes the voice of your writing. And it's hard to go back and make corrections and edits and things. And you're forced to just move forward. And there's something about the clicking of the typewriter that makes you think back to what life must have been like a long time ago, olden days, and what it must have been like to, in my case, grow up with a father who was abusive or a drunk. And a lot of people experience that today. I was fortunate enough not to have to do that. Me and Jonathan both. Our dad wasn't given to drink, though I have a drink every now and again. Having that in your family must be awful.
Love you guys.
So I'm trying to imagine that and put myself in that, but the typewriter can really bring out a lot of strange, dark things that you never really even experience or typically feel. I don't really get that when I'm, on my laptop, plugging away a story and arranging things and copying and pasting and looking up words. There is no, Googling how to spell bombardier when you're on a typewriter. It just comes out and you have to keep going. And
no
there's something
delete key either.
Yeah, and there's something rhythmic about the typing and everything. Yeah. So
there's a really great quote or bit from David Sedaris about that, where he talked about, and I think he probably wrote this back in the 90s, but he talked about how much he hated working on a word processor. Mm-hmm. He kind of called it the striking of the keys on a word processor, an electronic word processor, kind of felt like the scurrying of a rat, across the, it's very, very fragile and, just kind of ephemeral. And he talked about how much he loved the smack and clatter of a typewriter.
Yeah.
The joke being at the end of it that, that, with every failed endeavor, it was a crumpled up piece of paper thrown in the waste bin.
Yeah.
So that he knew that that if he failed and he went down, at least he took a couple trees with him. But he talked about how it felt like he was really building something. And it does. That mechanical nature of a typewriter, it really does make a difference.
I wonder if keyboard players, pianists,
they got to feel that.
If they feel the same thing when they go between a grand piano, an acoustic grand piano, and then they go to a keyboard.
Gotta be.
And it's the same thing with your phone too. I mean, there's something like on a typewriter when it doesn't affect what you're actually well, maybe a little bit. You can hit a key and you can smack a key.
Yeah.
And there's a huge difference in the sound and the feel. Whereas
hey, with a second special guest,
my daughter, Mrs. Eva May.
Yeah, hey,
we're actually live right now on YouTube. Say hi to everyone.
Hello.
Hey, go wait inside. I'll be in.
Say hi, water bottles.
Hi, water bottles.
That's a dog.
Hey, will you take Shelby inside for us? You take Shelby inside. Hey, and shut the door too.
Okay.
But with the typewriter, there's a different feel. You can put more pressure. You can smack it, and there's something very gratifying about smacking the key. Yeah. Just like with your phone, on a flip phone.
Yeah, the Gosslings are flip phone gang.
We're flip phone people. We traded in our smartphones a long time ago because you can't do this. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, it's just that.
Hang up on someone. It feels so good. Look, if you get robocalls and you're the victim of telemarketers, get one of these.
Yeah, it's so gratifying.
It feels so
it's the
good
closest
to hang
you can
up
get to having an old school phone.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure 80% of everybody watching this, which is like 3 people, are young and are still too young to have dealt with like on the wall, spiral corded, pick it up, but and like obviously phone technology has come, a long way since then, but there is that mechanical gratification of just like, no, I said have it to me tomorrow. Wham.
Oh yeah, and the older phones, the older phones have that little bell inside.
Yeah, it's so
you hit it so hard, the ringing bell kind of resonates.
You could tell we're Irish and German by our just latent temper, just boiling under the surface.
Oh, you said my mother's not here. Go away. Bing.
That's right. I said 9. Click.
I don't want to buy your wares. Be gone with you.
I don't want another vacuum cleaner. How many times do I have to tell you? Yeah.
So what do you got? That's enough about me.
I cheated a little bit. I started out with a Stephen Pressfield quote, which up about the pitch, and I was really proud of that because that's kind of how you get the system a little bit when you do these. But I like to go for
that's like 3rd grade tactics.
Yeah. Well, look, I never progressed past like 12.
You don't need a 3rd grade reading and writing level to be
a successful author. That's true. Yeah, I'm often accused of overwriting. So yeah, Nick's actually honest. I think like the more you do this, actually, probably the more successful you are. Anyways, I'll start off with the quote here. The Saras's song is a sad song. He pipes it soft and low. I'd ply a gentler trade, says he, but war is all I know. Stephen Pressfield, Tides of War. The night air was cool and crisp. Gone were the august rays of sunlight that warmed his cheeks and stung his eyes with their fury. He closed his eyes against the autumnal wind and inhaled. Pine tar, tree sap, and the sour stink of sweat mixed in his nostrils. The concoction was intoxicating. No matter the acrid stink of blood or the taste of burnt powder, it always made him think of his childhood. The forest had a way of bringing him back to softer times. There was no headier tonic than nostalgia. He smirked at that as he took another cautious step. The leaves crunched softly under his boots as he rolled the sole forward from heel to toe, careful not to shift his weight until the right moment. Timing was vital. In hunting, everything was an orchestrated effort. And yet still, one might fail. He had seen it in Kandahar. Chaos was the bastard child of bad luck and neglect. But he had survived that. He would survive this too. Chaos was a dragon. There was a reason why the commercial had his kind slaying a dragon. What he learned in the last 20 years was that you didn't leave the war behind. All of life was a war. Only God wins the war, his father told him. Your mission is to slay as many dragons as you can along the way, and choose your hill wisely. He thought about that as he brought the rifle to his shoulder. That's it.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, you like that?
Only God wins the war. Oh, that is so good. It's your job to slay as many dragons along the way as you can. And choose your hill wise. That's awesome.
You like that?
And yeah, it's awesome. Man,
Cool.
that's good. That's good. You know, these can turn into the beginning, like your little one page on a
Oh, yeah.
typewriter can really flush out a scene and inspire a new work,
Yeah.
a new book.
Yeah, it's like Miracle Grow in a way, on a plant. It's a spark, but it's its own special kind of spark.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have to think more about, you have to plan more ahead with what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. It's in a way it's more contemplative, but it's also more utilitarian. You don't want to get too flowery. You don't want to have like weird run-ons.
You can't.
You
You have
can't
to choose your words.
Yeah.
You only have a page.
Yeah, and I think we've actually done this once before, or I did it one time when I was over here,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
and it was fun. Like I think I dragged it out to like 2, maybe 3 pages, and it's always fun doing a 1 page because you're basically making like a J.J. Abrams movie or a Damon Lindelof movie where it's like it's the mystery box and it's all cool, open-ended, like the beginnings of mysterious, neat things, and
Mhm.
and then you realize once you get into like the 3rd page, you're like, oh, I actually have to like have a plan
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
I have to
Yeah.
like sort of
Well,
have answers a little bit.
yeah,
I can't
and
just
that's-
Lindelof it,
Yeah, that's one great thing about this is that you can write a 1 page, and because I've written several things like this, scenes like this, and I got to the end of it, and I'm like, there's no way I turn a book.
Yeah,
Turn
yeah.
a book.
yeah.
This is
Or I
is
can't
just
keep
a
this
short
up.
story. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not interested in building Leo's world and the hell that he lives in.
Right, yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a good 1 page. A good 1 page short story. And short stories are great.
Yeah.
And 1 page short stories, in my opinion, are even better.
Well, you almost could theoretically build a whole book out of just 1 pagers.
You can. Sure.
And
Sure.
even treat it
Short
like
stories.
Yeah, just like ultra minimalist. It's sort of like that. Was it Ernest Hemingway who had the infamous 5-word story?
I don't know. if
Baby
there's anyone-
shoes for sale, unused.
Yeah. Ugh.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's Hemingway.
Yeah.
He wasn't exactly known for his rosy outlook on life.
No.
But that's what I noticed a theme in both of ours is father.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's interesting.
And we didn't talk about or plan. I mean, like literally, maybe an hour? Not even an hour ago, 45 minutes ago, I called, or Nick called me.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Hey, are you coming over?" Yeah. And I asked him as I'm walking out the door with this in my hand. I was like, "Did you do your 1 pager?" He was like, "Yeah, I did it." Yeah. I was like, "All right, cool."
And
'Cause
I
I've been
did
in
it.
some writing groups where nobody did anything.
But I waited all week. I did it
Oh,
this
yeah.
morning. I
You did it this morning?
Yeah.
I got you beat. I did it at like 3:00 this afternoon.
Hey, nothing. You know what? Sometimes the muse responds to pressure.
That's right. There's some truth in that. Like, setting deadlines for yourself, or really having someone else set a deadline, but having some sort of a deadline for yourself that is dependent upon something, like you have to do it, and if you don't, you lose something. That sort of self-imposed deadline makes a huge difference. Like, for example, and obviously this is a segue, but
I was just gonna say,
but I saw the twinkle in
perfect
Nick's
segue.
eyes, by the way. He knew where I was going with this. But
You know
even without the whole thing that we're going to talk about, even just approaching Christmas, approaching the holiday season, or approaching Halloween, depending on the nature of your book, but especially Christmas, that is a great indie author self-imposed deadline that will force you to just get your ass in the chair, man. And just get in front of the computer or the typewriter and just start hammering away. It's like that quote from The War of Art. It talks about is the writer talking about the muse and saying, well, the muse is fickle and she comes and goes as she pleases, but thankfully she shows up every morning at 9 o'clock sharp. Which is like, that's when he's in the chair ready to be the channel.
I have, and it's true not just of the muse and writing, but like all the work that surrounds creating and publishing a book.
Yeah.
For example, I have a kid's book coming out on December 5th. It's 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I have suggested edits from about half a dozen proofreaders.
Yeah.
And it's up for pre-order right now. And I have
Hacker Jack.
Yeah, Hacker Jack.
Cool.
And I have to have the final version uploaded by December 1st.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't do anything this weekend at all. I was doing other stuff, but I know that
back of house stuff that was worth it, by the way.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Yeah.
But I know that like 2 or 3 days ahead of time, 2 or 3 days ahead of that deadline, I'm going to feel the pressure.
Yeah.
And I'll get it done. I should just do it now.
Well, and
but I'm a bit.
It's that standard issue procrastination thing of just, it's a burden, and it weighs on you and it stresses you out and it bums you out and you feel bad and negative, like, because you just keep putting this thing off. And then when you finally do it, man, it's just like, it's like taking the greatest dump you've ever taken.
But here's the thing, though. That deadline,
which is very like, that's an equitable metaphor for my work.
I told Amazon what day I want the book to go live.
Yeah.
And they said on the 5th, and they said, okay, you have to have all your edits done in the final version by the 1st. So that's a deadline.
That's an Amazonian deadline.
Yeah, Amazonian deadline. They put on me, and I can't say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't meet the deadline. Can I have a couple more weeks?
Amazon is the monolith. They don't care.
Yeah, they're not going to be like, no, you can't publish your book.
You can't call Jeff
We're
Bezos
taking all
up
your
and ask
pre-order.
for a favor.
Yeah, we're going to take all your pre-order stuff back. So.
Unless you got a good supply of adrenochrome.
But it's a great segue into one of our most common, our most shared frustration with the process of cover design.
Oh, cover artists.
Now, let me say this.
Yeah.
The company I'm working with right now is exempt from anything we're about to say.
Yeah.
Because they have been fantastic.
They're a different animal.
It very much so, very professional. But normally you're working one-on-one, not with a company, but usually with an individual.
A freelancer.
Yeah, a freelancer.
Yeah.
So I would say, and the work that I've gotten done for me has been phenomenal by the freelance. Phenomenal.
Sure.
Everyone compliments the covers.
Yep.
Worth probably more than what I paid, I would say.
Sure.
But it's a struggle. Yeah, it's a struggle.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that, everything comes at a price. There's no such thing as a free lunch, right? So as there are two avenues as an author, as a novelist. You can either be independent, and it's all incumbent upon you to marshal all of these different resources, to constellate all of these different, stars around you, whether it's editor, proofreader, beta reader, cover artist, narrator, like whatever. And you have total control. Mm-hmm. But you are the maestro. Mm-hmm. You are the general. The buck stops with you, and there's no oversight committee who's going to kick them into gear. Now, the second option is you become traditional media published author.
Yep.
under the umbrella of a publishing company or an editor or an agent, somebody like that. And the price you pay for that is you have very little control.
Yeah.
That was back when I was trying to get published in the early to mid 2000s. There were a couple of things that you had to just reconcile yourself with. And one of which was you are not going to have any input or control over your cover.
Yep.
And that's wild for people to think about now because Amazon's Kindle program and their independent author program and Barnes and Nobles are so ubiquitous and successful.
Mm-hmm.
But traditional media, man, if you pick up any fantasy or genre fiction was really bad about it. If you pick up a genre fiction cover that was made, by a traditional publishing company, and you look at it and then you read the book, 9 times out of 10, you come back and you look at the cover and you're like, why did they design Lan Mandragon to look like, a friggin' roided up samurai? Like, why did they, why does the shield on Gates of Fire not look anything like a Spartan shield? It's described in detail in the book.
Yeah.
Did the cover artist even read the book? No, the cover artist did not. They did not read the book at all. I guarantee you. And you had no control over that, but you also didn't have any of the stress.
Mm-hmm.
You just typed it up, set it off.
Your piece of the project was just creating the story,
create the
world,
story,
write it, and send it off.
Even your edits are a back and forth that eventually you have to submit. Your submissions, if you did not have Times New Roman 12-point font, 1 inch, it could be 10, but 12 was preferred. 1 inch margins on all sides, double spaced with a cover letter or a cover sheet. If you did not have that starting out, it goes right into the slush pile.
Ugh.
It doesn't even make it. Because there's always been a surfeit of content. I mean, it's the same today, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or Amazon or whatever. But it was the same thing back then. The only difference is back then it never saw the light of day.
Mm-hmm.
The gatekeepers were so stringent in their regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was a real coveted prize to be a published author, which is wild to think about because if you walk into a big box bookstore like Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, you see like tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of books for all these different authors and all these different people, and you think, oh, whatever, it's easy. It ain't easy to get published, to get picked up and published. For every one of those, back in the early 2000s, the metric was for every one of those that made it, there were 10,000 who didn't. It's insane the amount of effort. Right.
Yeah.
So like the flip side is now you can, and that's why I gave up for 10 years. I mean, really this YouTube channel, all of my Amazon books, I really have this guy to thank for him because I had given up. I had given up for like 10 years until I saw him publish the Travelers League. And all of a sudden it's like, wait, that's viable? Because you could do it back then, but it was a vanity project.
Yeah.
To do it back in the 2000s, to like publish your own book back then was like, you're clearly doing it just for yourself and you have an exorbitant amount of money. And all the people who said that you wouldn't have to spend a lot of money either would never sell your book or they were a scam. Mm-hmm. But the game has changed so much in the past 5 years. It's been
sure
wild to look at. But yeah, the price you pay is, you have to deal with cover artists and they will make you want to just beat your head into a brick wall.
They're very artistic types. We're kind of finding they're very artistic types. Mm-hmm. Most of them have other things that they do full time on the side. So they're juggling that. But for whatever reason, there seems to be a consistency with not being able to meet deadlines. Even self-imposed deadlines.
Oh, yeah.
Like when they tell you they'll have something.
Mine was the worst about that.
But or just the just
I can tell, by the way, when Nick hits upon something that like angers him deep inside, because like
he gets, there's like a knot.
There's a knot. Yeah, there's a knot inside, and I watch it just go.
Yeah, like someone's ringing my. I don't know if it's my heart or my trachea.
Yeah. It's that.
It's in here.
It's
there's
right
a
in here.
Golf ball sized ball of vitriol that is pulsating right now. No, not vitriol. That's extreme, but. How hard is it to say I don't have anything yet? Thanks for
Avoid
checking
it.
in. I'll check in with you in a week.
Part
Or
of
check
it-
back with me in a week.
Yeah, no.
But just to have
Mhm.
crickets when the author has like deadlines that they're trying to meet,
Oh yeah.
putting things up for pre-order, promising your mailing list, you're gonna have a new book out by a certain date.
Yeah.
I will tell you that.
Which you may have already communicated to your readers.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah,
An audience waiting to buy your book.
So frustrating. And the last cover designer, who was just brilliant as a cover designer, he strung me along
Yeah.
for 3 months.
Yeah.
I couldn't get any communication. He couldn't even get me a sample.
Yeah.
3 months.
Yep.
Before he finally said, I'm overwhelmed. I just can't do it right now.
Yeah.
I haven't even started, and I'm a month out from the
publishing
I wanted
date?
to publish.
Yeah.
And so I had to push my publishing date out a couple months and find a new cover designer. And I went with a publishing cover design company, and they're fabulous.
What's the name of the company?
Mibel Art. MIBLART. MIBLART. Mibel Art. They're fantastic to work with. Their designers are really, really talented.
Well, they're fast.
They tell you when they're going to.
communicative.
Yep. They set all the expectations up front.
Yeah.
They tell you what you pay, when they'll get you a sample, and then if you like the direction it's going, you pay a remainder or another portion, and then they start the work and they promise a turnaround like 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever.
God.
And they meet it.
Killer.
And if it goes a day or two over, it's like, I'm okay. And I'll tell you why. They responded to every email I sent them within 24 hours.
See, that's unheard of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The communication, the turnaround times, all of that with the same level of cover design, in my opinion.
There's probably means like there's some sweatshop in Bolivia or India where they're working and they're just like, if you get it out in 24 hours, we chop off another finger.
I went from working with one
That's a
cover
joke.
designer and wanting to trying to restrain myself from just telling everybody on social media, don't go with this person.
Right.
Even though he's wonderful, he's so talented. I was like, don't go with this person whatsoever. I really wanted to do that. I'm like, no, that's a little. No, I want to.
It's a little vindictive, a little
it is.
petty. It feels a little low.
I went from that to 3 weeks later. What took that guy 3 months to not do took this new company 3 weeks to do. And I was so happy. I was emailing them, asking them, where can I leave a review?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Complete 180.
100%.
Yeah.
Mibel Art. Yeah. If you're an author and you happen to find this video and watch it, Mibel Art is fantastic. You should consider them.
Well, and that's a big change. They're just cover artists. I don't know if it's like a graphic designer thing or if it's just an artist thing. I'm not too keen on that one, but or if it's a generational thing, because it's kind of a millennial subset.
That's
yours
very
was
true.
a millennial, mine was a millennial, and I say that as a millennial.
Mm-hmm.
But
I've had a couple. I've had a couple.
Yeah.
Cover designers. That was the main one was, but yeah, they were all in that age range. No offense, millennials, to you, but that's a consistent.
I'll offend you. See, he'll be nice about it. I won't.
But it's
I don't like you.
What's different though. Yeah. Let's talk about the contrast between cover designers and narrators.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. That's real good. Ice on a live stream. I'll do that every week. See how many people I can drive off.
Right.
No, but there is this. I'm not done with cover artists yet. We're not
going back.
No, we're not moving on to narrators yet.
Oh yeah.
Look, my deal with them was the exact same problem. Started off really strong. First book, really good.
Yeah.
Killed it, nailed it. Second book took a little bit longer, primarily because we had to retool. What I had in my head was fairly simple, but it had to be hand drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And as a word of warning, and I used Fiverr, by the way, to either very good all the way to very abysmal results. I mean, there was a real gamut between the two as far as quality, even with the same guy. But a lot of artists on there, they won't hand draw. They're really more like Photoshop assemblers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Elements.
yeah,
Using
elements, right?
Yeah.
Layers. So I had that problem. The third book, my deal. See, Nick's problem was just one of complete informational blackout
Mhm.
from a cover artist who, like, I'm just convinced that I don't know if it's an artist brain thing or a millennial thing or what it is exactly, or an internet thing, but like they just exist in a different like pocket universe on a different wavelength than the rest of normal humanity, where there's like some sort of time dilation, because he's talking about self-imposed deadlines. That was every week I had some new gripe for him, that he weathered with aplomb.
Mhm.
But like it was like my cover artist would tell me, yeah, well, I'll have it for you tomorrow, or I'll have it for you. Yeah, I'll have it for you maybe next week. Well, tomorrow in cover artist speech, because of the weird time dilation that apparently occurs, because they must exist like next to a binary star or something, where time gets stretched.
Or they're religious because 1,000 days is a
thousand days. Yeah,
a
day
day
is
to
as
God,
1,000
and a
years.
day is as
Yeah,
1,000
maybe
years.
that's what it is. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm not giving proper.
They're just
kudos.
hardcore believers.
I mean, that's a great excuse, if only, And I did have some leeway for him because he was in another country, so there was genuinely like a 7-hour time difference. But he would tell me, I'll have it for you tomorrow, and then it would be tomorrow means 2 weeks in cover artist time.
Yep.
Next week means next month in cover
Mhm.
artist time, and you better get used to that.
And next month means find someone else.
Right, yeah. Next month
Yeah.
means I need to find someone else. What became the red flags, and these should be red flags for you guys as well if you're watching this, is when I started getting the life crisis emergency kind of emails. Like with the third book.
I got a couple of those too.
Did you really?
Mhm.
Yeah. So with the third book, it was I lost all my files in a flood at my office. Like there's a real like fine line that you have to dance or walk between being merciful and appearing as gullible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's that whole "don't mistake my kindness for weakness" kind of thing.
Mhm.
And you don't want to burn the bridge. You want the relationship to continue, because the work, just like with Nick, my cover artist, when he finally showed up, was most of the
It was pretty
time
good.
stellar.
Yeah.
But getting him to like just show up,
Yeah.
just you just want to pick him up and just go.
Yeah.
It just is terrible. And then on the fourth book, which is unpublished because of the cover or lack thereof, has been a complete disaster. He dragged me out for over 3 months, just like Nick's did with him.
And this is a kid's book. I was trying to get out by October 1, so I could have all the fourth quarter to sell it. I wanted to sell it all through holidays. Now it has to be December 5th. I only get 1 month of the Christmas season, 1 month of Q4. Yeah, because he screwed me.
Well, and that's like I took a personal umbrage with my cover artist, because first it was his garden fell on his head. All right, fair enough.
Garden.
I don't know, whatever. Maybe it's like one of those tiered gardens. But anyways, there was a lot of like, I'm on pain pills, I'm all jacked up. It's like, good, right? Do your cover art on pain pills. Let's get wild, Let's see what you can come up with, And then it was like my
cover artist gone wild.
Oh, dude, yeah, no. And then they just, and then I can't remember. There was another one where he was, eventually he was talking about how his wife was wanting to leave him. So that's a horrible disaster, And then there was something else about like how he was sick, or it was always one thing after another. Oh, I know what it was. He had to go live with his mom. Right. And he's like my age. He had to go live with his mom because he was getting kicked out of his house because his wife wanted to divorce him. And on top of that, he could only use the internet Wednesdays to the end of the week.
When he had access to the library.
Right. And I'm like I get that it's lockdown right now, dude.
God.
And maybe your mom lives in the country, but it's just the excuses. It's just, I'm not retarded. Like I'm not dumb. I mean, I'm kind of dumb, but I'm not that dumb.
Right.
Like, come on, dude. Just tell me you don't want to do it. tell me you don't want to do it. You're done. It's
How many employers?
and how many times do
deal
you
with
have to email these people?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I had so many emails going to him saying like, "Hey, look, if you don't want to do it, it's fine, but I want to get this done." You
Yeah.
know, it's all hinging on the cover artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's all hinging on the cover artist. So like, you know, I have other projects I need to do. I got my own timetable. And two, there's an aspect of this fourth book, which I never really talked about a whole lot, is dedicated to a friend of our dad's who has Parkinson's, Mike. And
Who could get the cover done quicker?
yeah, at this point he could.
If we
he could
hired
get it done.
Mike, Mike, we're going to dedicate
Mike would
this
laugh
to
at
you.
that too. He would find that really
Would you
funny.
mind doing the cover?
Yeah. And you know what? It'd probably be better, honestly.
It'd be
You
quicker.
know, it'd at least be quicker. But I told him, I was like, you know, look, man, that's a degenerative condition. You know, it's really hard to get better with Parkinson's.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to get this done so that I can get it to him so that he can enjoy it. You know, it just, you know, and you would think that would motivate someone on a sympathetic, humane level to. But when I finally did get a rough draft cover from him, it used plagiarized material from Lord of the Rings and from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yep.
And I'm like, dude, those are the two biggest fantasy IPs out there.
Mhm.
And you just cribbed both of them for my cover.
Classy.
You don't think someone's gonna notice? I mean, probably not, because sales are like next to nothing. But like, hopefully someday I will be high profile enough for someone to notice.
The only people who notice would be the wrong people.
Or the
notice.
wrong, Twitter mob.
The people who just want trouble, or you know, somehow they'll know. They'll know.
Yeah.
No, that's horrible. That's horrible. So where is it now? So where does it stand now?
Oh, well, I ended up getting two other cover artists, one of which just completely, I sent in some pictures of some swords, like some weapons, and was like, hey, I don't have the copyright to these. These are just for inspirational purposes. And both of the cover artists on Fiverr said, okay, and then proceeded to just use those images. So, right. Now, the second one was modified enough to where I think it doesn't violate copyright infringement, but it's kind of a risk I don't really want to take.
Yeah, I'd make sure.
So I did. I've had some communications with some people who are authoritative on that subject, and I think I'm in the clear. But I did resort to using Cameron as the cover artist.
Yep.
And he showed me some pretty good ideas, actually. We had a conversation about that 2 or 3 nights ago.
Cool.
And yeah, he's making progress on it.
Awesome.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, the books are, like, some people love the journey. I do not love the journey of writing a book. Books, unfinished novels are like stones in your pack on your journey.
Mm.
And every time you're done with a book, that's a stone you get to take out of your pack.
Mm.
And you're lightening your burden. You're lightening your load. That's psychologically how I look at it. Just as how I look at life as a war, you know, that's the paradigm. So having a book project stall for what is effectively 5 months now, this book should have been done 4 months ago.
Oh,
you know?
I know.
That's it's a psychological thing, you know, and that's something to be thinking about too. If you think about being a novelist, is you'll have unfinished projects, you know, and there's a good chance that those projects will weigh on you. And that's where your own timetable comes in handy. That's where your own deadlines come in handy, setting deadlines for yourself. I have people ask me like, well, why does this book have to be out now? Like, why can't you just wait? Why can't you do this and this and push it back another, 2 months? It's like, God, because you just want to be done.
Because it's in your mind, in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
It's on your shoulders, and it's a project that has to get done.
Yeah.
Not a project that has to
languish.
Yeah, it zapped my momentum.
It does.
I had a schedule for how many books I wanted released. It was all laid out, and this threw everything off. And it, I don't want to sound like whiny pants or anything.
No, that's my job.
It depressed me. It
does. Yeah.
It really drug me down. I lost my
Yeah.
momentum and excitement for the project.
Yeah.
Well,
that's one thing that I've had to explain to some other people too, is that like the train keeps moving, the train keeps moving,
Yeah.
and you're either on the train or you're off the train, but the train doesn't care if
Mhm.
you're on it, and that's okay. And you don't want to shortchange the work. You don't want to be draconian. You don't want to, hinder your relationship with somebody else. Like Nick's really good at not burning a bridge. I'm really good at finding diesel fuel and like to throw on a bridge and then just shoot it with flares.
Yeah.
That's I'm the bridge over River Kwai and or Indiana Jones just hacking away. But no, you have to have that balance between negotiating with other people who have their own priorities, their own lives, and you are not priority number one in their lives.
Yep.
Whether it's an editor or a cover artist or an agent or a marketing manager. But then you also have your own priorities and at the same time negotiating those. Narrators, on the other hand.
We love our narrators.
Yeah.
Love our narrators.
Dude.
They are the consummate professionals.
My narrator lives in the same country as my old cover artist. And I would be willing to pay for my narrator to just go talk to my cover artist. I would pay double if he gave my cover artist some wall-to-wall counseling, but you can't have everything in life. And so, dude, okay, my audiobook for Empyrean Falling through ACX for Audible, it's still pending. It hasn't come out yet, but
They're reviewing the files.
Yeah, and it takes a while because that's a 13.5-hour audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about it earlier. You were saying how long does it take even after he's done? It takes him 13.5 hours of listening. That's how big that book is.
Absolutely. 13 hours. I'm, recording it and then editing it and making sure it's up to, Audible standards or ACX standards. I mean, it's a work week.
A 40-hour week.
It's a work week.
And he burned through that in probably, no more than a month. He just,
it's awesome.
A scorched earth,
awesome.
Sherman's march to the sea. It was, Mongolian invasion. He just steamrolled that thing.
Awesome. He's awesome. He's got to do a President Trump impression. And if he does it even remotely decency, I'm saying it's you. We're probably going with him regardless. I just want to see if he can do it because there's a character that's parody.
Sort of a
there's a parody of Trump.
Yeah.
So if he can do it,
dude, that's killer.
You'll be engaging a narrator for Hacker Jack here. He's gonna be great. Yeah, the kids really liked him. So
that's what it's about, man.
Yeah, and the narrator I worked with, John Moe, by the way. John Moe, got to check him out. The narrator I worked with on Henry Half Moon made the book come alive. Yeah. I would advise people don't buy the book. Buy the audiobook.
The audiobook?
Yeah.
Those are strong words coming from.
I'll say this, and I've told you this before.
Because Nick and I are both kind of technophobe or whatever the word for hatred of technology.
Yeah, hatred. I'm not afraid of it. I just hate tech.
Yeah, just hate it.
But when he read my audiobook, I listened to it. I was shocked that I wrote that.
That's how you got something.
I was like, holy crap, I think I'm a good writer.
Yeah, what is it?
That was amazing.
This? Yeah.
I've listened to it just because I was like,
this
is a great story.
This is cool.
I had no idea.
Who wrote this? Yeah. Oh, it was me?
I can't believe I wrote this.
Shmee?
He just reads it so well.
That's what a narrator is supposed to. Just like how a good cover artist, and look, give credit where credit's due. My first cover artist for the first 3 books elevated the work.
Absolutely. Your first cover especially is my favorite.
And the third. I love the third. The third cover, Sturm and Drang.
Yeah.
There are 50 pages extra of material that are in Sturm and Drang that are inspired by his cover design.
Wow.
That's
awesome.
How crazy. Right. So as much as I trash talk it, for good reason, there's good there too. But that's the same thing with a narrator. A good narrator elevates the work. I'll give you an example. Adam Burrell is my narrator for Empyrean Falling. And he's got kind of this Alan Rickman sort of vibe to him that's really cool,
it's awesome.
But he's really good at he's English, but he's really good at British accents, just the gamut of British accents.
Yeah.
And there were some characters that he gave certain accents to that are now embedded in my brain
Cool.
to where
Now
like
you can write when you're writing. You're hearing those
you
voices.
write like there was one character who he gave a Scottish accent to, and it was perfect because like I never thought about it that way. I actually envisioned that character as Michael Ironsides from Starship Troopers.
Okay.
But I don't know. But he gave it a Scottish brogue, and that like it's perfect. It fits that character perfectly. And now, anytime I think about including that character, I write him with the Scottish accent in mind, which changes how the dialogue goes with that character. You like if you try to speak with an Irish accent, try to speak with a Scottish accent, English accent, Cockney accent, whatever, you'll find your word choices change, and because certain words sound more impactful with certain accents. It's it's accent 101.
Yep.
So that's a really good example of how like your narrator can bring a new dimension to the table that will literally change how you write.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
I agree with that.
It's not all gloom and doom as an
not.
indie author, but
no.
God bless
So,
you.
right now we have a couple of excellent narrators, and we have worked out our cover design woes, and so I think everything right now is actually pretty good.
Yeah, weathered the storm that is 2020.
If we had done this video a month ago, 2 months ago,
it just if you think my like
I'd
10
be
minute
banned from
rants,
YouTube from the things I'd say.
Yeah, you want to talk about shotguns and yeah, dude, I was ready to buy a plane ticket to England. With the cover
I know
artist.
you talked about it.
I was like, I almost like went on Expedia and was like, how much does it cost to buy a plane ticket to just go rattle this dude like a parrot in a cage, like the joke, the parrot joke. We can't tell the joke.
No, we can't tell the parrot joke right now.
But the punchline is, you know what? Yeah. There's somebody out there who knows the parrot joke, who's laughing right now. But yeah, man, and hey, all things work to the glory of the Lord.
That's
so,
right. That's right.
As a Christian, you just sort of back off and you're just sort of like, you know what? That is one thing that is one thing that I had to remind myself at some point with Triptych Codex, with the fourth novel, was that like, you know what? Maybe there's a reason for this.
Yeah.
Maybe I just need to stop trying to draw blood from a stone and just back off and just, it's that whole let go, let God kind of thing. Yep. And there's some truth to that. God helps those who help themselves. But there are times, man, where you are trying to beat down a brick wall with your face,
Yeah.
And the brick wall is not going to lose.
Right.
So you gotta call in the God battering ram and just like let God do it,
So what are we going to talk about next time?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Let's see. Next time, I could talk a little bit about. I could give some pointers on collaborations next time.
Collaboration, sure.
That would be a good one because I've had 2 or 3 experiences collaborating, and I've learned a lot about that I didn't think about. That'd probably be my contribution. What do you have? What are you thinking? See, I know Nick. See, I get pressured whenever like Nick puts me on the spot like that. But here's the thing about Nick.
I was looking for ideas for me, to be honest with you. See, I don't have any ideas.
See, I don't know. I think you had to have something.
No, I was like, I don't know what we're gonna do. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I don't know you as well because maybe I don't know Nick as well as I thought I did. Because normally when Nick asks a question like that, you can kind of rest assured that like he's got somewhere he's gone with this.
No,
he's got but not this time. I don't know my brother. It turns out.
Well, not
Who
this time. Not this time. That is kind of
this?
like me to be like that. But, no, I don't. I don't know. I don't know if we should do another 1 page or we.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We could do another 1 page. These are fun.
Okay, we'll do another 1 page.
And for the 25 people watching who are going to watch this, in the meantime, if you have any ideas, feel free to let us know.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, we got 25 views on it.
That'd be awesome. I'd be honored if 25 people watched this. That'd be great.
You almost want to make it like a cool special club because there's so few people who,
You're in.
Yeah, you're in. You're in the special, Gosslings club. I know that I'm working with my marketing manager to get a website going. And then we have a Facebook page that were kind of in the works. We're finalizing that. Speaking engagements was something I was interested in doing. So if there's anybody out there who is interested in the Heavenly Realms project, who sees this, any of the Heavenly Realms books, churches are a big one. It'd be cool to do some church gigs, or any sort of writers gigs. You have like a fair or something that you go to, or there's some sort of maybe it's like a homeschool.
Yeah, there's like an annual homeschool festival where they talk about books and literature, and it's at the little local library here.
Oh, yeah.
I did that for the first time this year before the lockdown.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll be doing it next time. I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything virtual to any effect.
Really?
Yeah, it's easy to sell books when you're at a table and there's a bunch of kids that can come over, but
that is fun.
But when it's virtual and there's a link,
yeah, I know, man. See, that's the weird thing about that whole what is it, singularity, digital consciousness kind of thing. It's like you're never going to get off the ground with that.
No,
you're never going to get off the ground with that, because humans are tactile creatures. We have bodies, and we sensory input, sensory response, tactile reciprocity,
totally.
Having a book, talking to a person in person, it's always better.
100%.
I just
100%.
I hate the whole just ephemeral kind of intangible. It's almost like you don't exist kind of thing.
Yeah,
in the
like
digital.
people. Yeah, that's true. That's why people on Facebook and Twitter are so nasty to each other.
I noticed that. Oh my
gosh,
gosh,
a level of existence that they don't actually have, because they would never say that thing.
Yeah,
to somebody physically present.
I noticed that with.
It's like the people drive that way too.
Driving, absolutely.
Posting on Facebook and driving, the way people comment on Facebook and the way they drive their
because
cars.
Because you're in a 2 to 3 ton metal fortress.
Well, that, and that people can't hear you. They can see a little bit. Maybe they can only tell which way your car is, how you're handling your car on the road, but they are just as apt to cut you off, because it's not really you so much as they're cutting off a machine that you're driving.
Right. Yeah.
They don't.
It's
really,
very impersonal.
It is. There's a dimension of humanity that's removed from everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
Just like on Facebook,
Just
there's a
like
level
on
of
social
humanity
media
that you're not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate the way people drive, and I hate the way people comment on Facebook, and they're detestable. And I've been guilty of doing both, more on Facebook than driving, because I'm a great driver.
Nick is a very good driver.
What irritates me about, I'm so self-righteous about driving. I
puritanical.
I am, yeah.
Nick is the Spanish Inquisition of drivers.
I cannot get over myself with how good I am at driving. And I get irritated with everyone else for not considering people on the road around me.
He does get pretty bit out of shape.
Not me.
It's really funny.
But if car A cuts off car B, I really hate car A.
Nick, you would exist in Mexico for about 3 minutes.
I can't do it. Forget Mexico. Love the people.
Love the food. We're about to go get Mexican food, by the way.
Some Mexican food, by the way.
I'm about to go flirt with the senorita. It's going to be great.
It's true. Keep it up. Maybe it'll go.
What you can't dazzle, you just chip away at.
Right.
I think it was the Kings of Queens guy who said that. No, that's true, man. It's I realized that with Twitter. At the behest of my marketing manager, I got a new Twitter account, Author J Goss, and being on that thing, man, I made the mistake of commenting supportively of Gina Carano, who is in the doghouse apparently with the Star Wars Mafia.
Yeah.
Which is so painful, because you and I I literally grew up on Star Wars. My earliest memories are Star Wars memories thanks to this guy, because he would come in the summers and in Christmas, and we would watch Star Wars, and we would go to the comic book shops. I had old vintage Star Wars toys because I was born in '83. Before I had any other toys like G.I. Joe or Turtles or any of that stuff. So Star Wars is in the blood, and watching how that's gone the past few years is just, but yeah, Twitter mob, man. Anytime I see a notification on Twitter, I just cringe, because I'm like, I know I've got some hot takes, but it's all just people lashing out.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
and
Yep.
speaking of which, have you seen the latest episode of Mandalorian?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
did you like it?
Better than episode 2.
It was better than episode 2,
Yeah,
wasn't
the
it?
plot actually developed. You actually got to
Yeah.
see where they're going.
It wasn't
with
some
with
bottle
with the
episode.
series.
Yeah,
Well, with the season, you got to see what
it developed the world.
Yeah.
Raise some
Yeah.
questions.
The reason why he's on this goose chase and what the series is the season's gonna be about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah.
And Katie Sackhoff was good.
Mhm.
You know, she's really awesome in it. Titus Welliver was the Imperial officer. He's
Yeah.
from Deadwood
Yeah.
and Lost.
Yep.
Awesome actor.
Yep.
You know what's interesting about that? I take major umbrage with, I think it's the 4th episode of season 1, where they're on the farm planet and they
yeah.
have to fight the ATST.
Yeah.
And because it's such a the Force's female Kathleen Kennedy kind of, they just had to like get that SJW woke, you know, which is so antithetical to the Mandalorian, because the Mandalorian, the reason why the Mandalorian is popular is it's dad fodder. Like, it's Star Wars for dudes.
Mhm.
You know, he's a single dad.
Mhm.
And he's part Boba Fett. He's part gunslinger. They pretty much ripped off Lone Wolf and Cub, by the way, but that's fine because it's better. But it's total, like, just red meat for dads.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, like, we can finally, as men, and I'm not a father, but I mean, as men, we finally have a Star Wars IP that we can like really latch onto and identify with.
When he was stranded on that planet and he knew that the Empire was after the child, under his helmet, I don't think I ever heard him say, "You know what I really need right now? I think I need some feminists right now. Get some feminists in this fight. That'd be awesome. That's what I need, because I don't have enough.
Uh-huh.
I don't have
I don't have enough girl
trouble.
power.
Right.
Yeah, I don't have enough problems in my life.
Great.
But
now
you know
we're gonna be shadow banned.
Yeah, whatever. You know, look, my face gets on there automatically. But that 4th episode was kind of no bueno, because it was such a deviation from that show, or from the ethos of that show, and it had a really nonsensical, stupid plot.
It was a throwaway episode.
Total throwaway
and
episode.
It seems like it was just making sure we're just
And it was-
pandering so that nobody can
Pandering.
accuse us of not forgetting a group.
Uh-huh.
Get that. Just tell me the story. Just tell me.
Well,
the story.
and it was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard, which makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Ron Howard's daughter.
Oh.
So it was definitely like a bit of a political grandstanding episode. And I really lambasted that episode and lambasted her for it. Like, I was like, this is awful. This is like the one sore thumb in the whole finger pie of The Mandalorian, you know. But I got to eat crow a little bit, because this last episode, The Heiress,
Mhm.
was awesome.
Yeah, it's good.
It was everything you wanted out of a Mandalorian episode, and it was directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Redemption.
Yeah,
There you go.
redemption. So, anyways, those are our hot takes for this
Yeah.
week, our socially and politically incorrect maneuverings.
We
You know.
really got close to the line of saying things we shouldn't say.
yeah.
That was racy. That was a racy episode.
Racy, yeah. This was salty.
Yeah.
The salt must flow.
And we didn't
You know.
cuss.
I think I cursed a little bit.
Did you?
I probably cursed a little bit. I mean, I technically cursed in here, so I can't help it. I got, you know.
We should do a.
I know how
we
to
should
talk to
do an
grandma,
episode-
by the way.
We should live stream an episode while we drive in a car.
Okay.
Wouldn't that be great?
We have to do it under a whole other account.
I'll drive.
Yeah, Nick can drive.
I'll drive.
Yeah, and you could just hear all the dirty
Jonathan
words.
will be doing the episode, talking about stuff,
commentary.
and you'll just hear me, that jerk,
Yeah.
turn signals, turn signals.
Nick's got a real Clark Griswold vibe with
I
how he
do.
manages his
I
anger.
do.
It's just, you know, there are a lot of chainsawed newel posts.
Where's the Tylenol?
Where's the title at all? That's right. You got anything you want to plug or let them know about?
No, Hacker Jack, middle grade science fiction story, comes out on December 5th. And my kids and I have a YouTube channel called Travelers League, and we have a series of videos called Kid Ventures. And number 3 is in the can. It comes out Thursday. We're having a ton of fun.
Yeah. Those are
Every
cute.
every episode is better than the last.
Yeah.
And if you like to see siblings going head to head to get their father's approval,
It is really cute. Yeah.
it's you definitely got to check it out.
It's like why you have kids.
Yep. Yep. It's
All right,
great.
everyone. Author Jay Goss, Heavenly Realms.
Nick
Look it up on
Goss.
Amazon.
Nick Goss
Travelers
writes.
And we're over an hour. I missed it. Oh, well, it doesn't
No, we
matter.
almost made it.
Whatever. Who cares? All
All
right.
right.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
See you later. Have a good week.
We almost made it. Let's go get Mexican.
Next kid.